Hey, so are you worried about the coronavirus? You know, the Baal Shem Tov has a teaching. He says, if you can see the good in the bad will turn to good. So let's look at the good and the bad. I can see 10 amazing things about the coronavirus. Now, that's not to say, of course, that, like the flu, we don't feel very, very sorry for those, unfortunately, who actually lost their lives. 25,000 people lost their lives to the flu, and perhaps that happens on a normal year. People with low resistance or older people that unfortunately maybe existing lung conditions. And really, those are the only people that have to worry about the coronavirus. So if you're worried about it, and you're young and healthy, such as myself, then you have to learn how to overcome fear and panic, because it's just ridiculous. It's like worrying about, I don't know, that I'm going to get struck by lightning. Well, a lot of people every year get struck by lightning, but I don't worry about it. So the reason people are worried about this is just because the media is highlighting it every single day. If the media highlighted every single person that got struck by lightning, he would be wearing a lightning vest. And so the 10 positive things that come out of Corona, and hopefully we can shift the energy from fear to love and joy and unity, is number one, the first and foremost positive thing is that the media is just fear-mongering. That's what they always have done. That's what they always will do. If you remember Y2K, they said for years that the world was coming to end in the year 2000. And the year 2000 comes, and it was as if nothing they said mattered. In other words, they didn't write an apology for freaking everyone out. Some people sold their homes, exactly what people are doing now, bought a cabin in the woods. It was just like, next story, because my job is to sell you fear. So if you want to be an idiot and buy into a person whose job is to, imagine there's a person whose job is to, every time you pass, say boo. But you choose to go by the street that he's on. So you're an idiot. So, stop watching the media. I mean, you could maybe once in a while do an instantaneous just glance at the headlines, just to, if you want to keep yourself informed. The articles are just worse than the headlines. That's all they are. And it's whatever it says is in the headlines. But you don't even need to do that. Trust me. If there was something serious, you would hear about it. The whole thing is just stupid. It brings the worst energy possible. Never mind the amount of people that have like Trump derangement syndrome. It's amazing. Normal, nice people. You mention his name, they just like their whole face like goes crazy. So in other words, you hear the same idea again and again and again, and eventually, God forbid, like the Germans, they believed something insane because their media was taken over. They heard every day, Jews are this, Jews are that. So when they saw a Jew, they were thinking something that didn't exist. But it was implanted in their heads, and they were the idiots that listened to it. Well, you're free. You don't be an idiot. Don't ever, ever, ever go to the media. The second thing you have to realize is be happy. And today I had a great discovery in my life, and that is that, you know what it takes to be happy? It takes realizing that you're blessed. And what is the definition of a blessing? Definition of a blessing is something that you don't deserve that you have. So think about 10 things that you don't deserve that you have. And even your body. Did you deserve your body? No, you'd be pretty messed up without it. Do you deserve, your parents? No, you don't deserve them. Do you deserve God? You don't deserve God. And if you have a connection with Him, you're double lucky. You deserve your religion, your land, the systems that keep us together. You don't deserve anything. So if you think about these things and how lucky you are, you'll be glad. And joy is the most amazing positive energy. It transforms everything. And I think the coronavirus, really, we're coming into the Messianic era, which is going to be an unbelievable, awesome era very soon. And the coronavirus is here, I think, to humble us. Because, Why do people fight? They fight because you insulted me. So first of all, who are you? And second of all, who am I? So it's like today, I'm a rabbi, and we have a preschool in our synagogue, and I watch the kids line up. So you're talking about literally under two, and they're bickering who's first and who's second. You're looking at these little kids bickering, and it's like same thing as adults bickering, because they have their little egos and they're fighting. And what's the difference between a nation, with all due respect to Mr. Putin, Russia fighting for super supremacy, or the Arabs, they've got their issues fighting for supremacy. China, I don't know what their agenda is, whether they want kind of market share but what's the difference? Does it matter? Okay, you go first. You're better than us. Russia, Arabs, you're the best. Makes you happy? So, in other words, these kind of little stupid wars, these ego wars, actually we're all the same. One little virus, it affects us all. All the diseases in the world, they affect us equally. The idea of love affects us equally. Joy affects us equally. Are we different? We're created by the same God. Our bodies are the same. We're not different. So I think the corona is helping us see that. It's this little bug, and suddenly we're all in a situation. The next thing I think corona is doing is waking us up to a very important fact. And with all due respect to President Trump, who I believe is doing a very good job for many, many different aspects, such as security and certainly the economy. And that's very important, super important things. And anyway, anybody who thinks you can give up security in the economy, very soon you'd be living in the woods. So just like wake up and appreciate the fact that you have a leader that cares about these things. But in any event, the point is that interconnection. We can never go into a state of protectionism. It's not going to work. Our economies are deeply intertwined and interconnected. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have to respect the rule of law and play fair. We certainly do, because the rule of reciprocity says that as I treat you is how you will treat me. So, China can't expect to rip people off and then everything's just going to keep on going well for them. It doesn't work like that in business. Eventually somebody's going to get smart. But reciprocity is important, meaning I'm going to treat you as you want me to treat you. And without that, it's just not going to work. And so, first of all, the fact that we're a global economy is good. It's good. And you can't really, with all due respect, you can't sort of protect your markets, and it doesn't work. It's a global economy. You have to let the market system work. Will some industries go down? Yes. Will some jobs go to China? Yes, it's going to happen. But it's interdependent. You can't stop it. I'm not going to go into the solutions. I have a website, neverEverAgain.org, of what we should do, because I think that society has to provide jobs, but not by trying to be protectionism. That's not going to work. You're going to provide jobs by doing a joint government-private venture where you'll create like farming communities, give people meaningful work. And anyway, it's a separate issue. But the point is, the idea that we're interdependent is not a bad thing. It's a good thing that we're one world, and we need each other. And that's really how life functions. We have to wake up to this basic idea, and that is we are made to be interdependent. Men cannot work without women, and women cannot work without men. And you can say whatever you want, but if they separated in one generation, the world would die. So the point is we need each other. And that's a good thing, because by needing each other, we reach out to each other. And by reaching out to each other, we treat each other with love and respect. And so I think that the coronavirus is, whether we like it or not, maybe even subconsciously, it's teaching us this powerful lesson. And I'll just conclude that in Judaism, I think it's the only religion that really says that there are two ways to heaven, two ways to God. Please God, to the Mashiach, the Messiah coming soon, which is the ultimate. But one way is for Jews. We have 613 commandments. And the other way is called the 7 Noahide laws. And they consist of don't curse God, don't worship idols, don't commit adultery, don't steal, don't murder, basically don't be cruel to animals. And one of them is don't eat off a living animal, which this whole virus is part of. And so the Chinese have to get this system of the 7 Noahide laws, because if they got that system and they properly kind of, with respect, treated animals and killed them humanely before they would eat them, we wouldn't have this problem. And and finally have a justice system. Every society obviously has to have a justice system. Without that, it says man would eat each other alive, and follow the justice system. So my friends, we're actually in remarkable times. We're in the best of times. Never in human history has it been better. If you were not panicked about the flu, which was worse than the coronavirus, there's zero reason to panic. And my blessing to you is we're very soon, this Passover, we're going to be in the Holy Temple with the Rebbe, with the Mashiach, with all the great tzaddikim. It's going to be a resurrection. It's going to be awesome beyond words. In these final moments, we have a choice to make. And the choice boils down to, number one, are you going to panic, or are you going to be filled with hope and faith? And only you can take care of your own emotions. Somebody asked me a question on Quora the other day. I can make my emotions. Is that normal? I said, yes. That is normal. You're not a subject. Your emotions are what you're feeling. But you can tell yourself what the reality is and you'll feel something else. If you change the channel, you'll feel something else. So you got to dedicate your life not to getting bad news, but getting good news. Study the Torah, study about Mashiach, realize the good things in the world. Have positive goals, make some money, give charity, get involved, get married, have kids, positive goals. See somebody in need, help them. You see a problem, fix it. You do that, you're going to have a meaningful life. I love you. Do it.